guys can tell, the new Tacoma TRD Pro is pretty sick. So back in January, after I was done driving the new GX in Tucson, Arizona, I made my way up to Scottsdale, Arizona, where Toyota had a big influence at Barrett Jackson doing a Supra drive event. It was more of like a kind of little drift course, and then also a TRD Pro dirt experience. So they had a 4Runner TRD Pro, a Tundra, and what I was there for really was the new 2024 4th Gen Tacoma, jumping them on this track, drifting around and everything. It was a super amazing time there. So this recap is not my driving impressions of the new Tacoma TRD Pro, nor do I have pricing or MPG yet. That is gonna come in April, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. However, I was riding shotgun in this truck, and I wanna tell you about it in this video. So we're gonna start off first with reliability, because these trucks weren't just there to have fun, although they were. The big thing that DG Spec, the company that put on this event with Toyota in Barrett Jackson, the one thing that they were really doing was sending a ton of data logs back to Sheldon Brown, the chief engineer for Tacoma and the whole Tacoma powertrain team back in Michigan. So the cool thing was, guys, is they put on close to 300,000 miles on this truck. And you may be thinking, holy crap, 300,000 miles in a week, how they do that? Well, it's equivalent to 300,000 road miles. My 4Runner has about 40,000 miles on it in the 7 years I've had it, right? Ooh, John, drive your truck more. I get it. I love this thing. But what they were doing on this road course is revving the crap out of this truck in first gear, drifting it around, jumping the truck, tons of wear and tear on these trucks in the 1 week that these trucks were performing at Barrett Jackson. Now I asked Don, who's the owner of DG Spec, how did these trucks do? Did any break down? You have any issues with them at all? He's like, powertrain wise, these things were bulletproof. So you guys that are worrying about the 4-cylinder in the Tacoma with the turbos and everything, saying they're not gonna last past 100,000 miles, they had 3 trucks running this event, again, equivalent to about 300,000 miles on them, and they did really well. One thing I did notice is a tailgate issue on the truck. The Tacoma TRD Pros, they have an electronic tailgate, and the fit and finish of a prototype isn't 100% there, and the whole beds were rattling the whole time in that event. Like, again, 300,000 miles off-road, the tailgates did not want to pop open the best, but that information made its way to Toyota, and they'll figure that out and fix it. So, John, how was it sitting as a passenger in this truck? Did you have fun? Guys, it was a blast. The iForce Max of the new Tacoma is a freaking rocket ship. It punches so hard. In my driving event that I did with the Tacoma back in November, I left that event saying, I cannot imagine how insane the iForce Max is gonna be in this truck, because the normal iForce with 317 foot-pounds of torque that comes on at only 1,700 RPMs, yes, it's a 4-cylinder, but it moves that truck really well. And I was all like, if they're putting 465 foot-pounds of torque in this truck with the hybrid, that's just gonna be nuts. And that's exactly what it was. The tail end of that truck whipped out perfectly. I mean, Brandon Walsh, professional Baja racer, he knows how to drive the trucks. Even though a lot of this footage doesn't look super fast, that's why I don't do a lot of off-road videos, guys, because it never captures through the camera as well natively as it does you actually sitting in the seat. But the truck had tons of power, just ripping it, wheel speed at like 70, I think 80 miles an hour as we're drifting through the whole thing, jumping the truck, landing it, and it felt super comfortable. Those Fox QS3 shocks absorbed everything really well. And as you guys can see here in this video that Jace took, Ghosted TRD, he has his 3rd Gen Tacoma already, super jealous. But you could see me and Brandon Walsh in the front. And now the way the isodynamic seats work, and I didn't really tell when I was sitting in this truck, but as you guys can see, our heads are just solid. It's like a gimbal, and you guys can see these seats just moving around, right? But the isodynamic seats are keeping our heads super level. So it's very strange how you don't realize how much those seats were actually working when I was in the truck until I watched back the footage. I was like, holy crap, like they are actually keeping me properly aligned in the truck, even though like I look like I'm bouncing around and stuff with the GoPro footage or DJI Osmo footage. From the rear looking forward, my head was very, very stable. The truck drifted really well. It was a very quick course and stuff, but then when we jumped and it landed, those Fox shocks, the hydraulic bump stops in the back too, just everything felt really solid. Then we took the truck to go get it filled up with gas. I don't know if I should really talk too much about like the on-road characteristics, but I'll just say this. What I like about a Toyota, especially when I off-roaded my 4Runner when I used to back in the day or whatever, is the crazy amount of stress that truck went through off-road by drifting it around, jumping it, going through, like as you enter that off-road course, there was just a whole bunch of like little washouts, like grooves and stuff, almost like you were going over 300 feet of cattle guards, right? It's just blah, 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 just shaking like that. What I'm getting at is when we took the truck from the off-road of being all rowdy and just vibrations and everything onto the pavement to go fill it up with gas, it was just like it was meant to be on the road. There weren't any crazy creaks, rattles, anything like that with the Tacoma. It was just, you took it from the dirt, now you're on the street, and it just drove nicely. That's all I'll say about that until I'm able to drive it. That just coincides with when tomorrow's video that's coming up of me finally seeing a production level TRD Sport and also SR5, is that these trucks are just solid, man. No shame on my Tundra or anything like that. It's just the amount of attention to detail that Toyota is doing with this Tacoma. That's probably why my truck is still sitting in Mexico, right? They want the quality control checks of these trucks as the batches are coming to be perfect. And those production trucks that I saw yesterday or a couple days ago, they were just so solid. And that's how this Tacoma felt. Even though it was a little noisy, right, with all the windows down and you're just bombing it off-road and jumping it and everything, the truck itself is just dummy solid. It's insane. And then, yeah, it's insane. So I didn't really know how to document this video for you guys just because it was a lot of just drifting footage and a lot of stuff doesn't capture perfectly through the camera. But I kind of wanted to recap it in a way of talking about the reliability, like I just did, and also just how it felt and the isodynamic seats, because a lot of people aren't sure on how they really work. And really, I'm not sure of how they really work either. I could see it on the footage looking back, just how steady my head was and everything. And just jumping the truck too, it landed really, really nice. And just the torque and the punchiness out of that iForce Max engine just makes me just insanely excited to drive it in April. And not only that, but like the Land Cruiser too, right? Because it shares the iForce Max engine as well. So if you guys want any other questions answered about this truck, maybe we'll talk about it more in the live stream on Tuesday, but just let me know down in the comment section. Guys, I appreciate you all watching, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, see you later.